We all got a good taste for Scream 6 on the basis of the initial teaser trailer, but admittedly it wasn't much to go off of. And while I would normally expect, a teaser more to be in the format of, oh, here's a compilation of clips from the movie, that was more so just one scene. And while the scene was fine, I like the scary atmosphere to it. We are changing the scope of it, this being set in New York, apart from where it was. I forget the name of the town. It begins with a W. Anyway, I forget. I'm relatively new to Scream, if you can't tell. I said this before as well. I just recently got caught up with all 5 of the first entries. And I can definitely say that I maybe not be the most ultimate Scream fan out there, but I did relatively enjoy the movies for the most part. I mean, not all of them were perfect. I thought the last one had a couple of issues, and I'm still trying to best wrap my head around the whole ending with the fandom thing. I don't know. I'm still processing that one. But Scream 6, I think, has a good look, even though perhaps Neve Campbell's not back for this one, and David Arquette's gone. Understood for the story, though, but it's still, we'll miss him. It still sounds pretty good. I mean, what's her name? Kirby's back, Courtney Cox is back, I'm a huge fan of her, and then Jenna Ortega, who it's certainly gotten a lot of attention off the Wednesday series. I have yet to cover that, and I will in the future at some point. I'll get around to it. I'm in a catch-up phase. I've been for a long time now. But Wednesday got her a lot of attention, so I'm sure his eyes fixated particularly on her for this new Scream entry. And again, like I said, the opening, in terms of what we came to appreciate with the first teaser, was a good first introduction. I've been looking for more to best gauge the movie in full. We have a longer trailer today at 2 minutes and 24 seconds, so this should give us a much better impression of this new Scream entry, and if it deserves to be continued. At this point we've had 6, and this has been a very long-running thing for Paramount. I'm sure they're thrilled to see perhaps a very successful project. We'll see in time maybe the overall, what the overall debut presents. But they've been looking, as I've said many times, for, I'm sure, franchises that are sustainable, and I think Scream, based on the last one as well, there's some life to this franchise. And I am a thriller guy, so I'm obviously game, just even on a first impression. Let's see what Scream 6 has to offer in full. At least, or on a better impression with this trailer. Again, it's not necessarily one scene, as I'm assuming. If it is, it's going to be like a replicated experience. But let's get a good taste for what we can expect for this new production.
Please help me. Just down there.
You got a problem here, guy?
I like how old the mask looks now. It's aged. Feels worn. Oh, he's using guns now. Well, adapt. Well, the knife s'mores thing. Maybe we'll grow to like this.
I had this.
But it is a shift.
There's a darkness inside of me. It followed me here. And it's gonna keep coming for us. We share a certain history. This isn't like any other Ghostface.
What is this place?
A shrine.
Okay.
For him and we execute him.
This is getting kind of interesting, in my opinion.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Well,
maybe, but there's never been one like me, Gale.
Good staging. That one scare I thought worked very well, especially in the context of the shot.
Different.
That's why I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
You want me. So let's finish this.
I'm liking it.
Guys?
This is what we already saw in the teaser, so this feels a bit familiar. But a good lead-in. I will say it's a very gray movie. I mean, again, I think scare-wise, it's fine, and it's quite fun. And some new, directions with it, obviously. I think that at some level, my suspicion is they're trying to take Scream and see where it has potential in a fresher view. Films have to adapt, especially when, you're on the 6th entry, and maybe some would argue there's a sameness for the character running around with a knife in hand, even though it's kind of the whole mainstay with Scream, at least in the way we've come to understand it 5 entries in. So shifting him to holding a gun, I get it in the context of the scene, and it feels I don't know how to interpret this other than maybe I look at the trailer itself and it feels limited to that particular scene of, well, that's what the character had on hand. So, in terms of twisting fate and then using a gun instead, it's like, this is a weapon that's about to barrel on me, and now I'm going to wield it. In the scene, it works. If that's going to be the entire duration of the movie, of him running around with a gun, and again, maybe the argument could be, well, Ghostface now, this is a different one. That's what he was saying, at least later on with the quotes. I don't know how I feel about it, though, because the knife is a particular component of the Ghostface entity as we know it from 5 entries. So to depart, if it does in full from that, I think would be, I don't know how welcome of a switch it would be. I have mixed feelings on it. But if it's just limited to a scene, I could understand kind of what they're going for in energy. I mean, perhaps. Again, I think it's effectively made manifest. It's frightening. It's got an unsettling terror atmosphere. I love this idea with the shrine, by the way. Terrific that they've done that before. I think it's a creative idea. And maybe that being like the final destination, but we need to get him here. I mean, that could be kind of a fun concluding scene, especially when the reveal takes place, if it does. It looks good on an atmosphere. Some of the shots work very well. I thought with the Courtney Cox scene of her on the phone. My suspicion as well with that scene and the way they cut it, the line sounded abrupt. I'm probably assuming they're going to cut out a swear word or two that wouldn't have done as well in the marketing, at least for a general trailer. They slipped a couple in, I think, or at least one. I don't know. The line sounded a bit changed or altered. Staging-wise for some of the scares, it looks great. We'll see how Scream does 6 entries later. I don't know. It's, again, long franchises. Maybe not as long as others, but still, it's certainly in years it's aged quite a bit. But it's still fun. Like I said, I just recently got caught up on all 5 of the first entries, and I enjoyed them, relatively speaking, especially the first couple of ones. Scream 6 could be a lot of fun. And I will say as well, in March, that's becoming quite a populated month for cinematic debuts. We have the Dungeons & Dragons movie, 65, and now we also have Scream to add on, as well as probably other movies I'm forgetting at the moment. So there's a lot of projects that are vying for your attention. Which of those 3 maybe that I just mentioned is more what you're looking for? I'd love to hear down below if you wish to disclose your perspective. And does this Scream, if you're a Scream fan and you've seen the previous entries, where does this line up for you? How do you feel about it? Because I think there's a lot of potential to the release. I do think perhaps, I don't know if, I wonder, because as far as we know, and I know there's some theories floating around that might be a bit of a play on part of the studio, that it's intentional, but as far as we're aware, Neve Campbell isn't in this one, and she's a prominent star of the first 5, so I don't know how that could affect attention. I think Kirby, based on what I've heard in terms of fan recognition, I think she'll probably bring a lot of people in, a lot of Scream fans. We'll see how Scream does as a film. I think in terms of the thriller side, it appears quite good. It seems engaging. I am curious about some of the choices that they're making, especially when it pertains to that gun. If that is a new switch, or if it's just in context of that one scene. We'll see what it looks like in terms of the full scope, in 2 months from now. But on a first trailer perspective, this not being necessarily just one clip, generally the film looks pretty good. I mean, a very gray movie. Maybe that's meant to fit in the atmosphere of the tone. I think it could have used maybe a little bit of color in part for some areas, but I mean, it feels unsettling. I liked it generally. We'll see how the film looks again on its full debut, but right now, I'm geared enough to take a look at it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.